Welcome back to 91X in lovely San Diego, but we're at Coachella. We've been joined by Kimbra. You were just telling us a quick story that you got hit up by the Deer Hunter.
Yeah, I love his records. Act 3, The Meaning of Life and Death, is a favorite of mine. And then he wrote me a message. It was like, I really like your music. I'd love to meet sometime. And I was like, I love your music. And it was this beautiful little moment of mutual...
Now, how do you know it's the Deer Hunter, and how does he know it's really you?
Twitter's very reliable.
So it was a direct message from him?
Yeah, I think so, yeah. And then we just started emailing.
Okay, perfect. So let me ask you this. Obviously, you have your own career. You've had your own career for a while, correct?
Uh-huh, yeah.
And a lot of people in this country right now are being made aware of, however you want to put it, because the song is so freaking massive. Yeah. Did you come in and write your own parts, or was that written for you by Wally?
The song, it's a funny story. The song was kind of done-ish in a way. He had it all written from one perspective, but Wally was in a place where something wasn't right about it. You know, he was like, it's not feeling complete. I think I need to put another perspective on it. And so I guess he went about bringing in a new character, and then the mission was to find someone to sing the song. So, you know, he rang me up and said, could you give this a try? I've got this verse that I need to bring a new voice to. And, you know, I was so excited because I was a big fan of his work. And he came round and we did it in my bedroom, and we worked hard to get the right take. It had to be a certain emotion. So
wait, that was written you actually recorded that in your bedroom?
That's right, yeah. So,
So that's why it actually sounds like what it sounds like. Like, get out of my bedroom.
No.
It's the ultimate, and as you know, I was even listening to Nicole talk to you about it, it is the ultimate song from every perspective. Everybody's got the perspective, right?
That's right, yeah. I mean, it's crazy that it came from an almost kind of a DIY sort of beginning, because at the time I guess I felt I didn't have any idea of the success of the song because it was done in such a kind of casual context. Right. But now to hear that Glee is covering it and it's on The Voice and all of these places, I think back to that little day in my room and I'm like, wow, you know, it just shows that you can never know.
So as you're sitting in your bedroom, obviously you have no idea how big it's going to become. And now when you hear it on the radio, do you envision, because I had no idea, obviously it was your bedroom. I don't think anybody did until you just pointed it out. What do you hear now when you hear that song? Do you hear the anthem that we hear?
Yeah, I do. I mean, it's different because I'm in it, and you know, when you're a part of it, you know, I like Wally have a lot of attention to detail, and I'm listening to production aspects, or you know, the pitching on this line or that line, and you know, I've analyzed the song to death when I was working on it with him. But I think now that I've had time away from it, I really can see how it has resonated so much with people, and just kind of pinpointed an emotion that everyone's felt before. And I just feel really blessed to be a part of that whole journey and, you know, to sing that side of the story for a woman around the world.
It's wonderful. Now, you've obviously been a big fan of Wally's for a while, as you said, yes?
Yeah, absolutely.
Who else, when you were growing up, you mentioned you picked up a guitar when you were like 14 and started really writing songs. What was the reason that you grabbed a guitar as opposed to a saxophone?
It's funny because I took piano lessons at the same time, but guitar, something about the rhythmic aspect of it, I think I feel very drawn to, you know, percussion and grooves. That was just what was natural. It felt right to play.
And pianos don't cut that unless you're in some...
Well, it's funny. I wish now that I'd stuck at it more because I do use the keyboards now, but I think guitar, there was something kind of primal about it that I liked. And then I picked up 8-track recorders, which got me into kind of the layering of voices. And obviously people like, you know, Björk or Camille, the French singer, and these various artists that were very big on layering their voice, they really inspired me. Also, the color of jazz singers like Ella Fitzgerald and Frank Sinatra. But I also went through a stage where I just listened to a lot of Miles Davis and bands like the Mars Volta, and got really inspired by kind of, I guess, more alternative music. And I think my love of syncopation and kind of interesting polyrhythms and stuff like that came from a lot of those bands. So, do you know what I mean?
I know exactly what you mean. I was waiting for to finish that, but to me that's amazing that you mentioned Miles Davis and the Mars Volta at the same time, because it really comes down to the same, in essence, the same thing. Yeah?
Well, I think, obviously my music doesn't necessarily sound like them, but...
No, but I'm talking about the complexity.
The aesthetics of what those artists do and what they the kind of genres that they fuse, I take a lot from that, and I get really inspired by the emotion in their music, or like I said, the syncopation. And now I can't play drums like John Theodore, but I maybe might be able to create the same sonic landscape with my voice. And so that's an exciting thing for me as an artist, to be like, how can I take the things I love about, bands, progressive rock bands, and try to do a kind of pop twist on it.
I ran into Cedric yesterday. He was standing outside hanging. I can't remember which band he was talking to, but I went up to him because they played Coachella at like one of the first Coachellas on a side stage, and they opened for a side stage, and now they're on tonight. Back is at the drive-in, but are you going to be, when you're done, walking over to watch it at the drive-in?
There's no way I'm missing it. Yeah, it'll be very nostalgic. They were a band that were pretty big for me when I was a teenager and kind of introduced me to this whole other world of, kind of crazy music. So it'll be great. I can't wait.
Anybody else? Again, obviously, you had to fly in from New York today. Anybody else in the festival? Because you're going to be back here next week, yes?
I'm not.
You're not. So this is a one-off.
Yeah, I'm going to have to fly to Europe this week. So
Do you have a career or something that we don't know about?
I have another life. I'm sorry. I have to go and promote my album. So, it's a little unfortunate, but I'll only be here for tonight, and I'm going to try and maybe catch Thundercat today, a bit of Justice. We'll see. We'll see how much I can cram in.
Okay, now let's promote your album. Tell me about how long has this been done and finished, and how long have you been writing these songs?
Well, the record was out in Australia last year. It's actually been out for a little while over there, but I wanted to give America a new version of it. Okay, so there's 5 new songs on the record. They've been, done with producers over here like Mike Elizondo, known for his work with Dr. Dre, who's also playing tonight. Greg Kirsten, worked with the Flaming Lips, the Shins. I actually had DeAnthony Parks play on a few tracks. He's the current drummer for the Mars Volta, which was a total, trip. And they will feature on this new version, which comes out in 6 weeks. The record is called Vows. And, I'm pretty excited to share it with people.
And how'd the LCD sound system / Mark Foster thing come about?
So it's actually a track with Mark Foster. That's through Converse collaborations, and they did a collaboration with LCD Sound System on their last one. And it's just, it's a kind of fun opportunity to collaborate with a few artists outside of your genre, and we had so much fun making that song and just kind of doing something that wasn't attached to our album and let us be a little freer with it.
You seem to have enough of a background to understand that it's okay to do whatever. Like, if you like these artists, you're okay with it, yeah?
I think it's great. I mean, it's funny sometimes if people kind of backlash against you trying something different and be like, oh, you're making dance music now. What happened to blah, blah, blah? And it's like, it's tiring making an album for a really long time, and it's really fun to just dabble in other stuff for a bit and get refreshed and inspired by a different style of music. And I think I'd like to be the kind of artist that keeps dabbling in different. Now,
let me ask you this then. Artists living, dead, or yet to be born, who would you want to work with that you haven't yet? If you could just tweet them. I don't care if they're dead. If they had Twitter accounts. Who would you want to work with?
I'd love to work with the Dirty Projectors. They're an amazing kind of new band. Rufus Wainwright, maybe like a power duet with him. If I could bring Jeff Buckley back, I think many people would agree that would be an amazing thing. Yeah, there's a lot.
Yeah. So, and that obviously, a couple of, I don't want to say a couple of dead people, but Jeff Buckley, I had the chance to see him and do one of these interviews like this.
No way.
His first show in San Diego, he played in my coffee shop, and there was about 30 people there. And I talked to him before, welcomed him, did the whole 9 yards with him, and then watched him perform. I couldn't talk to him afterwards.
Wow.
It's just, you've seen the videos.
Yeah.
Because once he transforms on stage and turned into the artist, it was weird. It was almost like I couldn't go up and say, how you doing? Because it's just, you felt there was his presence there. But anyway, continued success. We're glad you're doing what you're doing. We're glad that everything is working out the right way for you. And when you come to San Diego, will you come to San Diego? You can't commit.
Oh, no, I've never been, but I really want to because everyone tells me it's so beautiful. And I'm really excited to come there. I think the Foster the People tour will go there in June, I think.
The bass player's from Encinitas.
Okay, great. Yeah, well, I'm touring with them in June, so maybe I'll see you then.
Beautiful. Thank you very much, Kimbra. Lovely to meet you. And it is 91X.